Today we are discussing about the index properties of soil. So let's start without wasting any time. So the introduction. Basically in soil mechanics, properties of soil are broadly classified as index properties and engineering properties. The properties of soil which are used for identification and classification are called as index property of soil. The index properties are defined as specific gravity, water content, particle size distribution, in situ density, consistency limit, and relative density. While the engineering properties are permeability, shear strength, compressibility, etc. From the last lecture of the physical properties of soil, we can learn about some specific gravity. So, what is the definition of specific gravity? The ratio of weight of soil solids to the weight of equal volume of water content at 4 degree standard temperature. Okay, so how is that governed? The laboratory test determination for the specific gravity is picrometer method. In terms of sand, we can use picrometer method, and in terms to find the specific gravity of soil for the fine soil like silt and clay, we can use density bottle. So, how can we determine the specific gravity using picrometer bottle? So, first one, we are going to take a empty container and give it a name as a W1. Exactly you can see in this figure. After that, weight of that container W1. So after, we can collect our soil from the ground and oven dry it. After oven dry for the 24 hours, we can take that sample, put it to stabilize for 10 minutes on natural temperature, then put it into the picrometer bottle. Then after, you have to wait of this picrometer bottle in which we can put the dry soil. So now there are two materials, one bottle and another is dry soil. Give it the name as W2. Then after, top up that container, means picrometer bottle plus dry soil container, with the distilled water up to the top. Assure that there are no any bubbles are in the picrometer bottle. Then after, you have to weight of that picrometer bottle and give it the name as W3. Similarly, you have to take that empty container W1 and fill it properly with the distilled water up to the top and weight it. Give it a name W4. Now, you have all the weightage of W1, W2, W3 and W4. Now, to determine the specific gravity of soil, there is an equation which is W2 minus W1 divided by into bracket W2 minus W1 minus W3 minus W4. Put all the weight values in this equation so that you will get the specific gravity reading. Here are some value of specific gravity of different type of soil. For sand, the specific gravity lies between 2.65 to 2.67. For silty sand, the specific gravity lies between 2.67 to 2.70. For inorganic clay, the specific gravity lies between 2.7 to 2.8. The soil which contains with mica or iron, the specific gravity for that type of soil lies between 2.75 to 3, and the soil which has organic content in higher proportion, so that it is called organic soil, which has the specific gravity is less than 2.0. Now, determination of water content. The determination of water content are determined by following methods. First one is oven dry method. Second one is sand bath method. Third one is pycnometer method. Fourth one is rapid moisture meter. These are the laboratory testing methods to determine the water content of soil. So let's start with the oven dry method. First one, you have to take the empty weight of container, give it a name W1. Then after, take the weight of container along with the moist soil sample, the soil sample which are collected from the ground directly, and give it the name of W2. Place the container into the oven for 24 hours at 105 degree of temperature. After 24 hours, and give it the name of W3. Note down the weight of container along with the dry soil sample. Give it the number as a W4. Then note down the weight of container along with the dried soil sample. Give it a name of W3. Now to determine the water content, the equation will become W2 minus W3 divided by W3 minus W1. So from W2 minus W3, it is the weight of dry sample to the weight of, sorry, there is some error. From the equation, water content is W3 minus W2 upon W2 minus W1. So from the equation, the W3 minus W2 will give us the reading of most available moisture in the soil, and the W2 minus W1 will give us the weight of dry soil only. So we know that the equation of water content is weight of water upon weight of solids. Here it is proof. Now next, jump to the next method, sand bath method. Here in the sand bath method, obviously the equation of water content will be the same, which is W3 minus W2 upon W2 minus W1. Here we have to see that what is this value for W1, 2 and 3. So let's start. It is rapid and approximate method. Obviously sand bath is a very quick method. Sand is collected in a container and it literally heated with fire. Then after, we can take the empty weight of container and denoted it with W1. Take the weight of container along with the moist soil sample which is collected directly from the ground. Give it the name as W2. Now place the container in the sand bath for 15 to 20 minutes. Then note down the weight of container along with dried soil sample. Give with the name with W3 and then put the value above all of these weightage in the water content equation W3 minus W2, which is gives the weight of water divided by W2 minus W1, which is give the weight of dry soil. Here is then rapid moisture meter method. You can see the image of rapid moisture meter. It is nothing but a container, metal container, which is connected with the pressure gauge. Here is the pressure gauge from the tube. Here is the container which is connected with this tube. So let's start and take a understand about the pressure meter. This rapid moisture meter is also called as calcium carbide method. This test is based on the gauge pressure developed by the reaction of calcium carbide with the available moisture of the soil. Wet soil is placed in the cup, in this metal cup. Holding the moisture meter horizontally, cup and chamber is brought together. The meter is shaken for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, what happened in this pressure meter is the calcium carbide is going to react with the available moisture which is in the soil, and due to that reaction it will release the acetylic gas, which gas results the pressure gauge to react. From the calibrated scale of the pressure gauge, the percentage of water on the total mass of wet soil is obtained directly. So that's how we can get water content directly from this meter. It is very quick method and it is also useful for site. Now let's take a look of particle size distribution. Here we know that from the first lecture introduction we can learn the soil is classified based on its particle size and diameter. So how can we divide the soil based on its particle size? So here is the practical which is called sieve analysis. Due to that, we can elaborate the soil with coarse grain soil and fine grain soil. Basically, as per IS, the coarse grain soil is greater than of 0.75 mm or 75 microns. On other way, the fine grain soil is considered as the particle size less than 75 mm or 75 microns, 0.75 microns, 0.75 mm or 75 microns. For the coarse grain soil, there are dry sieve analysis and wet sieve analysis. On other hand, for fine grain soil, there is sedimentation analysis and hydrometer test. Now, sieve analysis. The objective of sieve analysis is to classify the soil and to determine the gradation. A set of IS sieve are taken. A suitable amount of pulverized dry soil, it's about weight in 500 gram, is taken and sieved through the different sieves with the help of sieve seeker for 10 to 15 minutes. Weight of soil retained on each size sieve is determined. Percentage weight of soil retained on each sieve is determined. Percentage finer is determined. Plot of percentage finer versus size of the sieve on semi-log sheet will give the type of gradation, effective size, and coefficient of uniformity and coefficient of curvature. Here is the sample of tabular for sieve analysis. For the fine grained soil, a soil diameter up to 4.75 mm, we can take this type of IS sieves. On the bottom there is pan, then 75 micron sieve, then 150 micron sieve, then after 212 micron sieve, then 425 micron sieve, and then 600 micron sieve, after 1 mm, then after 2 mm, then 4.75 mm, and up to 20 mm. As we described, we can take a 500 gram sample and sieve through this pan. Note down the weight of retaining soil sample on 4.75 mm and note down here. For 2 mm, note down here. Up to 0.75 mm, note down here. Then calculate the percentage retained on sieve on the by basis of 500 gram. Then cumulative percentage, then percentage finer, which is given by 100 minus this cumulative percentage, so that we can get this percentage finer readings. This is how you can put the value of this percentage finer and particle size. You have to take the value of percentage finer here on abscissa and the particle size on ordinator. Now this is the image of different gradation graph which is taken from IS 1498-2000. If the soil sample is in the shape of S and have all the particle size is considered as uniformly graded soil. It has a lesser particle size as compared to other, so it is called uniformly graded soil. If the soil sample has large amount of soil gradation, it's considered as well graded soil. If the soil amount has some of the soil sample and another are missing, then it is a gap graded soil. You can see here from this image. Also, if the particle has maximum large diameter of the soil particles, then it is considered coarse graded soil. From this reading, we can plot typical particle size distribution graph, which is of particle size versus percentage passing. From this graph, we can take the value of D60, D30 and D10. It is nothing but the percentage of passing through the soil. 10% soil passing, 30% soil passing and 60% soil passing. These values of the passing will useful to determine the gradation of coefficient, which is coefficient of uniformity and coefficient of curvature. And from this value we can give the classify the soil a name as well graded soil, uniformly graded soil or gap graded soil. For the coefficient of uniformity, the equation will be d60 over d10, and for the coefficient of curvature, the equation will become d30 whole square divided by d60 into d10. From this value, we can find out the type of soil. Which type of soil is it? Well graded, uniformly graded or gap graded? So guys, let's finish this topic here for today. Hope you can understand this and see you in the next lecture.